Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this live or this replay finds you well and in excellent spirits. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. This channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So, this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of January 20th through 26th, 2025. All right. So, how are we feeling on this Monday? Okay. Lots going on, of course. Some things I will not get into because it's not that kind of channel here, but I do want to say happy MLK Day. And it dawned on me today that one of MLK's most famous sayings is really emblematic of the current energy that we're in right now with the astrology, namely with the North Node in Pisces. All right. And that statement is you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. And that's everything that Pisces, that North Node in Pisces is about, right? It's about faith in the unseen. It's about embarking, like moving forward, even if you don't know the destination. And I feel like that's sort of how a lot of people feel like they're navigating life right now. Like there's so much uncertainty, there's so much that's up in the air. There's so much that feels like it's falling apart, right? It can almost be really difficult to hold that vision. It can almost be debilitating to think about, well, I want to do this, but the way everything is set up with everything going on and life is getting increasingly difficult, I don't think I can. North Node in Pisces, regardless of wherever Pisces is in your natal chart, it's like, listen, just take that first step. Have faith, right? Even if you can't see the destination, even if you can't see 10 feet in front of you, move forward. Now, moving forward is a whole other story because the other thing that I was sort of thinking about today was how everything is moving at the speed of molasses. And that's definitely because of Mars retrograde. So we started off the year with Mars retrograde. It's been retrograde since December of 2024. And if I'm being honest, Mars retrograde is the most annoying retrograde, even more so than Mercury, right? Because Mercury is fast. So while Mercury retrograde brings all of the Mercury retrograde foolishness, right? It's fast and it's relatively short. We don't have Mars retrogrades often, it's every 2 years. And when it comes, it stays for a long time and it really slows things down. And so that can also feel debilitating as well, right? It's like there are things that you want to accomplish that just can't get accomplished right now. It's like Mars is literally like, pump your brakes, rest. Now, there's always a saving grace in these things, right? With Mars retrograde, it gives you the opportunity to really flex your magic muscle, to put it kind of interestingly. Um, it gives you the opportunity to work from the inside out, which is not typical of Mars. Mars is a planet that's extroverted, it's very action oriented. And when it's retrograde, you slow down. There's no action to take. So, whatever action, whatever energy you were going to use to exert it outward, you get to exert it inward. And with Mars being retrograde for roughly about 3 months, it really gets you, it really gives you the opportunity to get right within. I mean, all retrogrades do. And Mars is just the first of the planets to go retrograde. We've got Venus retrograde coming up in the spring, and that's going to be an interesting time as well. However, suffice it to say, for now, conserve your energy. Try to do as best as you can. I mean, that's all any of us can do right now, right? And plan. Because when Mars goes direct in February, I believe it's February 23rd, hit the ground running in a constructive kind of way. Don't just be reckless and just be doing things because now you have your energy back and now things are back in motion. Like, take this downtime to really plan. Okay. And I preface this weekly astro forecast with this information because this is going to be a week where we're kind of dealing with some challenging astrological energy. Okay. It's not going to be a shit show by any means, but there are going to be some transits that are a little more challenging or a little more difficult and a little more arduous. And Mars is definitely involved in these transits. So, as much as we want to power forward, especially at this time of year, right? As much as we want to get things done, it just may not be the time for it, or it may not be in the way that you would have liked, right? And so that always gives us the opportunity to recalibrate, all right? So before we get into the details of the week, of course, housekeeping and announcements, all right? So if you're joining me live tonight, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. I want to give a shout out to all of the new subscribers, everyone who's checking this channel out for the first time. Welcome, all right? I am live every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the weekly astro forecast. We talk astrology, spirituality, life, all that good stuff. Set a reminder so that you can always tune in every week. All right. And if you're joining me live, please hit that like button on your way in. It's the best way to support the channel. It's free. And it really lets the algorithm know that you enjoy this content so that it will disseminate it to other people who may enjoy this content. And I see Patricia Jean is joining us here live tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are tuning in on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Hopefully, you get what you're looking for with this, right? Whether it's astrology information, confirmation, enlightenment, illumination, I intend that I bring all of that to you. And if that is the case, hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell if you haven't already. All right. So, after spending a couple of months just focusing on one particular reading, I have now opened my books back up for all of my astrology readings. And the best place to start is with my signature service called The Blueprint. This is where I really go in depth with respect to your natal chart so you can understand the greatest subject of all, which is you. It's a very comprehensive reading. People really seem to love it. If you're interested, link is in the description box below. It's also tagged to this video. And maybe you know your natal chart already, but maybe you're still interested in getting an astrology reading. Hit the description box. I have a link to a short little quiz that you could take to figure out what reading is right for you at this time. But otherwise, the blueprint is where it's at. So books are open, so sign up. And what else is open, which I'm super excited about, is my online private community called Cosmic Collective. All right. We're sort of taking everything that we're doing on YouTube, adding a little more to it. All right. And then there's the community aspect. I have my course in there, I should say my workshop, which is your cosmic selfie, which teaches you how to read your natal chart. I've got some other freebies and goodies in there. And I'm going to be adding more stuff and events and all of this amazing stuff as time goes on. So you will definitely want to sign up. It is absolutely free. We've already got some people in there having a great time. Link is in the description box below if you are interested. All right. So with that being said, let us get into the program. And of course, we start off with the theme. And the theme for this week is what I like to call free yourself. All right. So beginning yesterday, Aquarius season began. Okay. And Aquarius is quirky, it's off the beaten path. But more so than anything else, Aquarius energy is really centered around freedom, liberation, rebellion, even. Okay. And so Capricorn season has its purpose, right? It's really great for structure. It's really great for getting grounded, but too much Capricorn energy can kind of keep you stuck in the mud, can keep you tethered to certain things, right? Can really have you giving away your power in a sense. You know, Capricorn energy represents authority. And typically, when we're talking about Capricorn authority, we're talking about your boss. We're talking about big institutions. We're talking about government, even, right? And so Capricorn reminds us that there is a sort of rigid structure that we are supposed to adhere to. And then when we get to Aquarius season, we realize that autonomy and sort of autonomy and self-empowerment are really important. And that's where the free yourself comes in, right? And how liberating yourself from outdated structures, right? Aquarius season is all about, well, Aquarius energy, I should say, is all it's future looking, right? It's all about going into the future, innovation, invention, right? Creating new things. And so when we get into Aquarius season, this energy of rebellion, this energy of freeing yourself is really at our disposal. So wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart is being highlighted right now during Aquarius season. And this is perhaps where you can experience more liberation, more self autonomy, right? Instead of adhering to an external authority, you can use the energy of Aquarius to become your own authority in your own life. And you can start by examining where Aquarius is in your natal chart. That's exactly where you can experience this right now. But the other extremely important thing about this Instagram thing wants to keep popping up to remind you to follow me on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. The other important thing about Aquarius season, this Aquarius season in particular, is that it's going to have a very different flavor to it because because Pluto is now in Aquarius. And so for the next 20 Aquarius seasons, we're going to be experiencing this kind of intensity. And this intensity is meant to end things that no longer serve you while simultaneously giving you opportunities to birth something new. It's the death and life, the death and rebirth cycle. That's the essence of Pluto energy. And with Pluto in Aquarius, wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart is where you're going to be experiencing this. And every Aquarius season, right? So every January into February for the next 20 years, this is going to be activated. This is really going to be at the forefront of your consciousness. This theme of transformation, this theme of endings and beginnings that are taking us into the future, that are helping improve and innovate our lives. Okay. And it is by no means this sort of, I don't want to romanticize the idea of transformation. It can be really tough, right? Endings can be jarring, they can even be traumatic. However, rebirths and, birthing something new can be joyous and liberating. And so in the vein of Aquarius energy, it's like, what do you want to innovate in your life? Where do you want to experience not only freeing yourself, but breakthroughs, right? Aquarius energy allows you to tap into that. And that's so important given the current state of affairs, right? Like, so many people are trying to leave. So many people are trying to experience a different reality. That reality starts with you. Do not look externally for things to change in order for you to experience a different reality. You have to change it within yourself. And I love that Aquarius is an air sign, right? Because it's like it starts in the mind, right? The first of the Hermetic principles is all is mental. The universe is mind, right? So what are you creating with your mind? You can experience not only a mental breakthrough, but you can experience a breakthrough in your reality if you are willing to jailbreak your mind. And it's not an easy task. I'm not like sort of projecting that it's hard, but I also don't want to gloss over the fact that it's not just necessarily flipping a switch and all of a sudden you have this different mindset. It takes discipline. That's why, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is the breakthrough. Uranus is the jailbreaking your mind. But guess what? The Saturn aspect of Aquarius is the discipline to do so. It's the routine, it's the mental routine that you adopt in order to jailbreak your mind and being intentional about all of it. This is a very important facet of Aquarius season that we have at our fingertips for the next 4 weeks, right? And with Pluto there, Pluto is going to make us change whether we like it or not. Either we are intentional about using the energy of Pluto and transforming our lives from a place of conscious creation, or shit around you is going to be so intense, or it's going to end and you have no choice but to change. You get to decide which end of the equation you are on. And I would highly suggest that you choose the conscious creation end of that equation, right? Where you sort of get ahead of the external circumstances and create the change in your life that you want to see and experience. Okay, Aquarius is giving this all to you on a silver platter. It's just up to you to take it. It's up to you to really use this energy to your advantage. So, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to change? What do you want to experience in your life right now? I know sometimes that can sound overly simplistic or very kind of pie in the sky, but that's how these things begin. And again, this goes back to what I was saying before with the North Node in Pisces. You don't have to see the entire destination. No one's saying you have to map out this trip right here and right now. A lot of shit is murky right now. Let's be honest about it, right? A lot of us can't see that far into the future because for some people, not even gonna lie, this future looks kind of bleak at the moment, or at best uncertain. But take that step. Not only are you using your mind to create the staircase as you walk on it, right? You're using your mind to create the staircase. You don't see the whole staircase because the staircase doesn't even exist. You have to create it as you move forward. Not only are you using your mental capacities for that, but with Uranus being one of the rulers of Aquarius, it's like you got to use your intuition as the GPS. That's the only way to sort of get through this murkiness that we're in right now. Is you got to use your intuition. Your intuition is the GPS between you and your highest self. And your highest self can see well past all of this shit. Right? So that's what we have in terms of Aquarius season. Okay. And so, like I said before, the astrology for this week could be a little challenging, but challenges create character. And I know that sounds like something like your parents would say, right? Like you're like, who gives a fuck about character? I need to pay my bills, right? Of course. But perhaps the skills that you need to get the money to pay those bills are gained or are earned under these challenging transits. So think of it that way. Anytime you're challenged, anytime you're met with adversity, it's giving you more tools in your arsenal to handle bigger and better things. So think of it that way. All right. That's my little diatribe for the week. And speaking of the week, let's get into it and see exactly what we've got going on. All right. So for the week of January 20th, we've got the sun sextile the North Node. The sun conjunct Pluto, major transit this week. Mercury square Chiron, Mercury opposite Mars, another challenging but important transit this week. Mercury trine Uranus, Mars sextile Uranus, Venus trine Mars, Mercury sextile Neptune, and Venus sextile Uranus. All right, and let's see what the moon is doing this week. All right, so we've got the moon in two different phases this week. We've got the last quarter moon in Scorpio, which anytime we have a Scorpio moon, hella intense, okay? And then we have the waning crescent moon in Sagittarius and Capricorn. All right, so let's get into the week. And we begin today, Monday, with the sun sextile the North Node. All right, and let's see what this looks like on the chart. You'll have the sun at the upper left-hand portion of the chart at 0 degrees of Aquarius. The Aquarius season just began. And then we've got the North Node at the middle portion on the left-hand side of the chart. That little horseshoe looking thing, you'll see it is at 29 degrees of Pisces. All right. So when we're talking about sun, this thing just keeps popping up. Again, follow me on Instagram. When we talk about the sun sextile the North Node, this is opportunities to have a glimpse of what that destination will look like. So I've been saying this ad nauseum, right? You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Well, the sun sextile the North Node is like there are going to be things in your external environment that are going to give you glimpses of where you are headed. So you got to pay attention, okay? You got to see what is popping up right now. Okay. Now, the North Node is in Pisces. So understand that the way that you may become aware of this destination may be through dreams, it may be through intuition, it may be through divination, even, right? It's not necessarily the case that you're just going to see it, right? You may see it in your mind's eye. With the sun in Aquarius, it's like, okay, it's almost like this energy of, okay, I have this sort of random idea or this random inkling for something, or there's something within me that's like, do this or look into this, right? That is the kind of glimpse that you can get into your destiny, your fate, where you're headed, your destination, right? I just realized destiny and destination, same root word, right? Where you're headed. So pay attention to your dreams. I don't know about you, but since the North Node entered Pisces, my dreams have been so vivid. And it's crazy sometimes because sometimes the way the spirit speaks to you, it's such symbolism and parables. And sometimes I'm just like, can you not? Like, can you just tell me outright what you want me to know or what you want me to see instead of giving me this weird story with a whole bunch of different weird elements? Like, but part of it, it's fun, like decoding your dreams and figuring out what things are and sort of marinating on that message. But sometimes I'm like, Spirit, can you just give it to me straight up, no chaser? Because I just can't right now. But needless to say, that is perhaps how some of these glimpses of the future may come to you. So pay attention to your dreams. And one thing I'll recommend, if you're someone who is like, you feel like you don't remember your dreams, or maybe you're not dreaming at all, I would simply take a glass of water and leave it by your bedside. Water is a conduit, right? And Pisces is a water sign, right? And so just leaving a glass of water by your bedside, I have found personally has helped me remember my dreams or dream even more at times when I felt like I wasn't dreaming enough or I couldn't remember them. So that's a pro tip if you want to use it. All right. But either way, pay attention to these things. It's like, as much as we're saying, well, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what this is, Spirit is like, listen, I'm about to tell you, I'm about to show you. So pay attention and listen up. All right. So that is Monday. Let's move on to Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we've got the sun conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. We've got Mercury square Chiron, and we've got the last quarter moon in Scorpio. All right, let's see what this looks like on the chart. All right, so at the upper part of the chart, you will see the sun at 1 degree of Aquarius with Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. You'll also see Mercury at 19 degrees of Capricorn. On the left-hand portion of the chart, you will see Chiron at 19 degrees of Aries. And then at the right-hand portion of the chart, you will see the moon at 0 degrees of Scorpio. All right. So of all the days of the week that are going to feel intense, Tuesday is going to be that day because not only do we have the sun conjunct Pluto, which brings a lot of intensity, the moon is going to be in Scorpio. And this is going to be a day when a lot of things are perhaps going to be unearthed. Okay. When we talk about Pluto, Pluto is like turning over the soil after you've harvested the crops, right? Whatever remnants are left, you either pull, or what a lot of farmers do is they set fire to the field in order to purify the soil. Okay. Fire is hot if you didn't know it, right? Fire is hot. Fire can be destructive. It can elicit fear of getting burned, fear of being consumed, fear of dying, right? And so the way that Pluto is working in this way, in conjunction with this moon in Scorpio, it's like a lot of deep-seated emotions are coming up to the surface to be purified. Okay. And you can kind of think of the sun as fire, right? Because sun is pure heat. If you get too close to the sun, obviously you'll burn. And so this could show up in real life terms. This could show up as triggers. Now, Aquarius is the sign of the collective. And so this could be a situation where what the collective thinks, what the collective is saying is perhaps triggering to your own personal agenda, your own soul, all of those things. And you may find that what people are saying and the opinions that they are expressing are just triggering to you, right? Given the state of affairs, the fact that we have inaugurated a new president today, I can definitely see this happening with some people where it's like there's a certain group of people who are very loud about their opinions right now that may be very triggering to other groups of people. Okay. Now, understand this isn't just to fuck with you. The purpose of this, like I said before, is to purify. That fire purifies. It can get you laser-like focused on what it is that you believe. This isn't so much about fighting the enemy or having an opponent. Whenever we are triggered, it says more about us than it does about the person or the situation who's triggering us, right? It's like, what is it in me that needs my attention right now because I am triggered? Okay. And this is where transformation happens. This is how transformation happens. It's not the case that you just wake up one day and things are different. You work through that shit, right? You plow through it. You die to certain versions of yourself or certain versions of a situation. That's how change is effected. That's how Pluto works. Point blank, period. Pluto's not going to make this real nice. Pluto's not going to make this enjoyable. Pluto is going to bring in the fucking fire. Especially with this transit, with this sun conjunct Pluto. That fire is to help you. For some, it's to ignite you. For some, it's to light a fire under your ass because maybe you've been complacent. Maybe you haven't been making any moves. Or maybe your mindset has been trash. No offense. But with this happening in Aquarius and Aquarius being an air sign, for some, it's like this is the wake-up call you need to jailbreak your mind. You kind of have to get triggered into it. And it's okay if you do. Pluto would prefer it if you did. Because now you're going to change. Right? So whatever you're experiencing under this transit, feel it. Do not stuff it underneath the surface. Do not distract yourself with other things. And remember, it's like a lot of times, rather than listen to the message, we are intent on killing the messenger. And that's so counterproductive. Because the messenger is literally here to bring your attention to something. Our energy is sort of limited right now, especially because Mars is retrograde. Okay? So whatever energy you do have, you are to use it constructively. And that's not to say you're triggering me, you're not doing this, no. Be like, you know what? Fuck you, but thanks for the information. I needed that. Now, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to use this to change? That's what you need to do. Hello, ma'am. How are you? All right. So we got that. And then we have the moon and the moon and Scorpio, right? We just had a full moon last week. So we're in the waning phase. And whenever the moon is in Scorpio in the waning phase, I call it pet cemetery. Like all of these dead animals, all of these skeletons in the closet come up to be removed. You see why this is going to be really intense because you're being triggered. Plus, it's like you've got perhaps old emotions, old wounds coming up and saying hi and reminding you that, hey, you're still holding on to me. Or hey, we're still operating from this place of hurt, this place of trauma, this place of abuse or anything like that, right? Again, it's information. Don't put it back in the closet and close the door and act like you didn't see it. Address it, work through it. That is how you affect change. Okay. And then we've got Mercury square Chiron, and Chiron is also about wounds. So Tuesday is going to be a day where a lot of us may be feeling wounded, maybe feeling sensitive, maybe feeling triggered. It's like it can just be overwhelming. Okay. And if it is, just take a time out. And I know that sounds overly simplistic, right? But take a time out. Process whatever comes up. Spend some time alone, journal, listen to music, smoke a blunt, whatever helps you, do that. Just you know, don't effect violence on anybody. Don't do anything reckless, okay? But Mercury square Chiron, it's like your insecurities also like getting in the way, right? Perhaps when it comes to expressing yourself, or even when it comes to thinking differently. I've been talking all about jailbreaking your mind, but Mercury square Chiron may have you backpedaling into old programming, right? Because maybe you're not certain about this new mindset. Or maybe you feel insecure about something. And whenever we feel insecure, whenever we feel hurt, triggered, whatever, we always go back to our default. And Mercury square Chiron can kind of be like that. So, whatever transpires this week, and although this is all happening, these are all exact transits that are happening on Tuesday. We're in the energy right now. And the energy perhaps will remain for the next couple of days, especially when we're talking about something like Pluto. This Sun conjunct Pluto energy, it's going to be here for a while. Okay. So at least a good week or so, if not longer. So power through the intensity, use it as information. Okay. And it doesn't help that Mars is retrograde, right? Because everything's moving super slow. But this is where we find ourselves right now, astrologically speaking. It's nothing we can't handle, but it is something you need to be aware of. So you're not flying off the handle, giving up, or throwing in the towel, right? Like you can work through this. All of this is happening, to use the analogy I used before about like setting fire to the field, right? To purify. Once you purify that soil is so rich for planting new things, to have a new harvest. And isn't that what we all want? We want that cornucopia of abundance. We want the happy ending. We want the things that we want, right? But you can't plant seeds in soil that isn't nutrient rich. You can't plant seeds where there's a whole bunch of weeds. You got to do the cleanup. And it's transits like these, it's days like these, it's weeks like these that set us up for that abundance that that we really want. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying with this, okay? And then Moon in Scorpio, like I said, pet cemetery, things coming up. Do your best to deal with it. Take a time out if you need to. Just don't do anything reckless. All right. So that's Tuesday. Then we move to Thursday. And on Thursday, we have another not so nice feeling transit. We've got Mercury opposite Mars. We've got Mercury trine Uranus. We've got Mars sextile Uranus and the waning crescent moon in Sagittarius. All right, let's see what this looks like on the chart. So you will see Mars at the upper left-hand corner of the chart, right? Mars is retrograde in Cancer. At the very opposite end, you will see Mercury at 23 degrees of Capricorn. That's Mercury opposite Mars. Then Mercury is also going to be trine to Uranus. So Mercury is at 23 degrees of Capricorn. And at the upper right-hand portion of the chart, you will see Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. That may be the saving grace for Thursday, right? We also have Mars sextile Uranus. All right. And so Mars, again, 23 degrees of Cancer. Uranus, 23 degrees of Taurus. And then we have the moon in Sagittarius. Okay. So lots going on Thursday. So first, Mars opposite, or Mercury opposite Mars, I should say. So Mercury opposite Mars is going to feel like stagnant energy, especially mentally, right? Mercury is currently in Capricorn, okay? And Mercury in Capricorn wants to get things done, wants to structure things, that typical Capricorn energy, that's where our mindset is at. And that's how we're communicating. We're communicating in a very serious, business boss like kind of way, right? We're getting to the point and we're conveying ourselves clearly and concisely. At least that's sort of the archetype energy of Mercury in Capricorn, right? Serious business. If I had to boil down Mercury in Capricorn to its essence, serious business. And then on the other hand, we have Mars retrograde in Cancer. Mars retrograde in Cancer is not trying to be serious at all. Mars retrograde in Cancer is slow, lethargic, doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to take action, can't take action, and is having a hard time dealing with its emotions. Mars is super uncomfortable in Cancer. So when you put these two together, it's like wanting to get serious business done, but not, it's just there's no gas in the car. You need to go to work, there's no gas in your car. Frustrating, to say the least, right? So we could experience this on a mental plane, right? Like, you've got work to do, you've got goals to crush, you've got things, you got business you need to take care of, right? But your mind could be cloudy, could be hazy, could just not be attuned to the frequency of like seriousness. That's one. Number two, this could also affect our ability to communicate. You want to communicate and be received in a very serious kind of manner, right? You want someone to take what you are saying seriously. And I can attest to this because I had a conversation with someone yesterday, expecting to have a serious conversation. And I'm not going to say it went left, but I'll say it's like this person was not, they weren't trying to hear what I'm trying to say. And so you may find some of that as well, right? Like wanting to really get to the point. Mercury and Capricorn, even if you're not talking about work related things, whatever you're talking about it in a serious kind of way. To put it in sort of relatable terms, it's like sitting down with your boo and having the "what are we" conversation. Now is not the time for that, because you know what that's what's gonna be met with? What are we? We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. You know how annoying that would be? You're trying to have a serious conversation with someone and someone cracks a joke like that. Yeah, that's how Mercury opposite Mars is feeling right now. So that being the case, I'm not going to say don't take things too seriously. However, this may not be the time when serious things get done. This may not be the time to have those serious conversations. This may be the time to just fall back, wait a little bit until the cosmic weather is a little better to have these kind of conversations. Now, clearly, bills don't stop, business doesn't stop, nothing stops, right? But you may find that this transit perhaps throws a monkey wrench in it a little bit. Something that should take 5 minutes could be seriously delayed or not get done at all, right? Or get done very haphazardly, or, someone's just not feeling it. So the work quality can, it falters, right? That kind of a thing. So it's one of those situations where you kind of just have to roll with the punches. And when it's a better sort of environment, better sort of energy, you'll get what you need done. You'll convey what needs to be conveyed. All right. Hey, Rob, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. I haven't seen you in a minute. Hopefully all is well. Okay. All right. Then but we do have a saving grace, right? We've got both Mercury. Mercury is going to be trine to Uranus, and Mars is going to be square to Uranus. So that being said, in spite of everything I just said, things could happen surprisingly. Okay. Maybe, something, and these could both be pleasant surprises. So even though there's this sort of arduous and slow energy with Mercury opposite Mars, there could be a happy surprise. There could be a sudden encounter. Anything could change at any moment when you're talking about Uranus. So keep in mind that whatever I just said could turn on a dime, could change in an instant, right? In a good way. So that leads me to the moon being in Sagittarius that day, which is all about optimism. So keep an open mind, be optimistic. I'm not saying like don't have the conversations, don't do what you need to do. Keep an open mind and be optimistic, and the universe just may surprise you. The universe just may have an ace up its sleeve in order to make the situation work out for you. Okay, don't ever count out spirit. Spirit can do things in an instant that you, in your humanity, could take years to do on your own. Okay, anything could change at a moment's notice, and Uranus always reminds us of that. And thankfully, with Uranus being in a harmonious aspect to both Mercury and Mars, these are good surprises. These are things that could really, sorry, my nose is really itchy right now for some reason. Um, these are good surprises. These are things that could really help you out. These are surprises that could move the needle. These are surprises that could really get the job done. So be open and receptive to whatever spirit is sort of orchestrating with this. And when we're talking about Uranus, we're also talking about your intuition. So follow your intuition. Maybe the climate isn't right to have the conversation, but your intuition is saying have it anyway, because maybe this person can get the job done, or maybe you can get the result if you talk to this specific person, or if you communicate with this person over here. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? So leave room for spirit and leave room for the magic. All right. So that is Thursday. Now we move on to Saturday. And on Saturday, we've got Venus trine Mars. All right. And let's see what this looks like on the chart. You'll see at the upper part of the chart, you'll see Mars at 22 degrees of Cancer. And then on the right hand side of the chart, you will see Venus at 22 degrees of Pisces. All right. Hello, Maminka. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. So when we talk about Venus trine Mars, the first thing that I want you to realize is that both of these planets are in water signs. So this is all about emotion. Not only is it about emotion, it's about going with the flow. This is super important because with Mars being retrograde, things are very slow. It's almost like if you try to exert more energy, you may find that you're spinning your wheels and getting nowhere. That's very much how Mars retrograde can feel. But with Mars in Cancer trine Venus in Pisces, this bodes very well for romantic relationships, love, fairness, equality, and money. So it's really important that with Venus trine Mars, go with the flow. Okay. Pay attention to your dreams also. Like I said, I don't know about you, but since the North Node entered Pisces, my dreams have been extremely vivid and they've been giving me directions, messages, all of that good stuff. And you may be experiencing the same thing. Heed those messages, right? Especially if like you're getting lotto numbers or something, I would play them. I'm just saying, right? But either way, go with the flow and you have to feel it real. Okay. What I mean by this is with Mars being retrograde and Mars being the action planet, action denotes physical action, external action, right? Force, physical force at times. When that's not available to you, do you know how to get things moving? Your emotions. Feeling like you already have it is a real thing. That is how you attune to the frequency of whatever it is that you want or need. So do not waste your emotions feeling like you don't have it, feeling like you're never going to have it, like it's not going to happen. Use those emotions for good. Say, listen, I have it already. Even if you don't see it, right? Again, what have I been repeating this entire life? You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Feel like you have that already, right? This isn't some fake it till you make it type thing. And I want to give that distinction because fake it till you make it, it's like being in this mindset of knowing I don't have it, but I'm pretending like I do. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is feeling it real like you already have it. Fake it till you make it is still from a place of lack because you're still very conscious of the fact that you don't have it and like you're cosplaying like you do. When we're talking about manifestation and feeling it real, there's no cosplaying. You are embodying the frequency that you want to attain or achieve. And this is the perfect transit to do that, especially because Mars is retrograde. Like I said before, Mars retrograde is like, well, you can't take action on this. Physical action, physical force, physical effort, it's not going to help you in this situation. So you gotta go through the back door, which is feeling it real. And again, this bodes well for relationships. It bodes well for money. You're going to want to look at where Cancer and Pisces are in your natal chart. That is going to tell you sort of what you can embody or what areas of life this pertains to. And speaking of natal charts, if you want an introduction on how to read your natal chart, okay, then you will definitely want to join my private community, the Cosmic Collective, because I have my workshop entitled Your Cosmic Selfie, an intro to your natal chart, so you can start learning and understanding your natal chart. It's free. It's within the community. Link is in the description box below for you to sign up. Okay. But either way, heed this message. It's an inside job. Go with the flow and feel like you already have it, and it will be so. Okay. So that is Saturday. And now finally we get to Sunday. And so on Sunday, we've got Mercury sextile Neptune, Venus sextile Uranus, and the waning crescent moon in Capricorn. All right, let's see what this looks like on the chart. All right, so at the very top pan portion of the chart, we've got Venus at 23 degrees of Pisces. On the left-hand portion of the chart, we've got Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. Then we've got Mercury at 27 degrees of Capricorn, which you'll see on the right-hand side of the chart. And at the top of the chart, you'll see that we've got Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces, and we top it all off with the moon in Capricorn, which you will see at the right-hand portion of the chart. All right, so first up, Mercury sextile Neptune. This attunes you to the bigger picture, point blank, period. It's like, I want you to think big, dream big, right? When it comes to what you want to achieve, who you want to be, all of that stuff. Mercury sextile Neptune gives you opportunities to think big and dream big. But here's the thing that I really like about this particular Mercury sextile Neptune is the fact that Mercury is in Capricorn. So it's not just thinking, okay, I want to be a millionaire tomorrow. That is thinking big. However, it's a little out of touch unless something crazy happens, right? Which is a possibility. However, Mercury in Capricorn gets you to think a little more realistically. And so this is great for planning when it comes to goals, particularly long-term goals, things that you want to achieve. It's a great day to sit and think, okay, what do I want 2025 to look like, to feel like, to be like, right? And you're sort of going to have this common sense, pragmatic approach to it, which I really like, while still keeping the bigger picture in mind. So I would definitely carve out some time on Sunday to just journal, think of a master plan, and definitely memorialize it by putting it down on paper, typing it up in your laptop, whatever it is, put it on paper, put a plan in place. I can almost guarantee that just by doing that first step, it will motivate you to actually put action to those plans and achieve them, okay? Next, we've got Venus sextile Uranus, okay? And Venus sextile Uranus is always an interesting time. I want you to pay attention to perhaps who sort of orbits into your reality, what kind of conversations you can have with people. Venus sextile Uranus is like chance encounters. It's surprise conversations, surprise interactions with people. But also be unexpected money coming to you, unexpected happenings in relationships that are of a positive nature. So Sunday is kind of like a wild card. I will say that Thursday and Sunday, so I would say between definitely towards the end of the week, between Thursday and Sunday, expect a lot of wild card kind of energy, like random things happening, your intuition having you doing perhaps strange or unexpected things. Follow that. They can all lead to good things, whether it's meeting the right person at the right time, whether it's getting some unexpected money, whether it's a great idea that comes seemingly out of nowhere. The end of the week is wild card energy. So embrace it. It's not here to fuck you up. It could really help. It could really be advantageous and beneficial to you. Let's say that. And then finally, we close out the week with the moon in Capricorn. All right. Now, Capricorn, like I mentioned before, is that serious kind of energy. It's getting structured. And when the moon is in Capricorn, we like to, we like to get disciplined. We get a little more serious. And with the waning moon in Capricorn, it's like anything that's not in alignment with our plan, right? Kind of has to go. Easiest example, losing weight, right? We're getting towards the end of January. So hopefully if you were on that new year, new me, losing weight type of thing, hopefully you're still on that train. Okay. But this is like when the moon is in Capricorn, you're like, okay, no cheat meals this week, right? I'm not going to veer from my diet. I'm going to stick to my workout regimen. When the moon is in Capricorn, we get a little rigid. We can get a little disciplined. We can get a little stuck in a routine, but that can ultimately help us because it's that discipline and it's that consistency that helps move us to our goal. So when the moon is in Capricorn, we get a little serious, and that is how we close out the week. So like I said, kind of intense energy, but it's nothing that we haven't dealt with before. And everything, and I mean everything, is always working for your good. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it looks like, what it feels like. It could feel like utter devastation, but it could just be that fire that is clearing and purifying the soil for you to plant seeds of your own cornucopia of abundance. Okay, I want you to remember that because that's how the universe works. Like real talk, the universe, a lot of times, and me included, there are times I have conversations with the universe. I'm like, I know that you're fucking trolling me because this can't be happening. Or why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? But when I settle down and rein it in, I realize and I say thank you because I know that you're showing something. You're showing me something I need to see. You're calling my attention to something that needs to be changed, or you're giving me a prelude as to what is to come. The universe is marvelous in the way that it informs you. So think of it as such, even when it feels like it's crushing you. Trust me, it's not. All right, my loves. So that concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week and beyond. All right, catch me next week, same time, same place, for another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast, especially to those new subscribers and people who are checking me out for the first time. Definitely peruse the channel. I've got tons and tons of videos that you'll definitely enjoy. All right. And with that being said, I wish you all nothing but the best for this week and beyond. All right, my loves. I'll see you next week. All right. Take care.